Welcome to another episode of Cannabis Health Radio. I'm Ian Jessup.
And I'm Corey Yelland.
As regular listeners know, normally on this program we interview people who have used cannabis to help them or a loved one with a serious health issue. We also talk to medical doctors and scientists about the medicinal value of cannabis. Today we're going to do something a little different, more of an educational program. We're going to focus on cannabidiol, CBD, with a man who has spent months and months researching CBD and has put together an excellent website that people can go to as an information resource. No products are sold on the website. And joining us from Florida is Chris Visser, the founder and owner of Cannabidiol Life, and the website is cbdoilsandedibles.com. Chris, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Tell us how this project came about.
An unfortunate start was I've lost a couple family members to cancer. So what I was just doing is I was just online and I was searching for alternative medicines and natural healers. And because there's so many different stories out there of like, oh, if you go to Mexico, if you go to South America, they have these natural these herbs that, they've been healing cancer for years. That's what I was just researching. And then I just came across CBD. And then I came across how basically it's preventing cancer from spreading. And if you take it regularly, it could actually just prevent it from starting. But that's you mix it with THC as well. But that's just what got it all started. Then I jumped online and I wanted to do more research. But basically, I just realized there was not a single website out there that explained it like comprehensively to teach me exactly what CBD does for a specific medical condition. I went to a bunch of websites and it listed that it could possibly treat 60, 70 different medical conditions. It led me to studies saying where if they put it in rats or, it just didn't do anything for me. That's when I knew that there was something missing. And luckily, I had an awesome team and awesome people around me that were just as passionate. And we got together and made something happen.
How long did it take you to put this site together?
Research first, about 6.5 months. The design, roughly 1.5 to 2 months.
Yeah, the research is quite comprehensive because on your website you have over 50 health conditions listed, anything from acne to stroke, and you just click on one of those conditions and it talks about the medical benefits of CBD. And I tend to agree with you. There are a lot of sites that have little bits of information about CBD and cannabis, but there isn't really one site that has all the comprehensive information. And is that why, I guess that's why you decided that the public needs this information?
Absolutely. And especially, I even got tickled when the DEA came out with that notice saying that CBD was a Schedule I drug, because it was just absurd to me. And when that happened, I knew that there was even more of a need for a website like this. So
yeah, and there's a lot of misinformation out there as well.
Yes, there's a lot.
So when you're researching this, Chris, how do you figure out what is misinformation and what is true?
Well, all of our information is based on the studies that have been done. I took a lot of the websites that were out there, and I will give them credit for being the first ones out there, and basically linking. For instance, there's a couple websites that list links to studies being done, and that was a strong help for us to build the website, because what we did is we just went through every single one of those studies, and we actually took the time to read it, talk about it, and rewrite it comprehensively.
One of the things that I find troublesome about doing a lot of research on cannabis, whether it's THC, CBD, or any other of the cannabinoids, is that when you're referenced to medical studies can be, quite frankly, maybe I'm just stupid, but they're...
No, you're not, Ian.
At times, they are difficult to understand.
It's extremely difficult to understand. Like if you go to any one of the medical conditions that we wrote about, at the bottom of every page we've listed everything. We listed everywhere where we got the information from, right? Mm-hmm. So if you click on any of those, man, I'm telling you, it's like opening an encyclopedia.
Yeah, I know. It's really tough. What sort of response have you had from the public since you've launched this CBDoilsandedibles.com?
Every single person that I've talked to about it absolutely loves it.
Chris, is this an ongoing project? You're adding more, basically every day, or is it a finished product, complete product now? Or
it is not a finished product at all. Okay. I am basically subscribed to the couple of other medical journals that I got my information from, and we regularly check it and look for the latest studies that are being done. Unfortunately, there aren't a lot of ones being done right now, per se, and that's another reason why we built our website. Once the website grows and a lot of people learn about it and know about it, I can almost guarantee that we can get possibly any sponsor in the world. And with that sponsor, we can do our own studies. We can hire the scientists, we can get the facility, and we can do our own studies. All the studies that are needed to fully understand with no roadblocks. I think THC in general is finally, getting the recognition that it deserves. But CBD CBD's been living in the shade of THC. It's such an amazing little cannabinoid inside marijuana, and I believe since the government doesn't really know about it, that's why they just put a ban on it, because it's a strain, well, not a strain of marijuana, but it's like a single component, but since it's an extract of marijuana, that's why they did it. But I mean, there's no psychoactive effects to it. There's no high. You can't abuse CBD. There's no addictive properties to it. It doesn't make sense to me why anybody would want to ban it.
Well, the DEA's notice last December, which said that CBD is a Schedule I drug, which, as you mentioned, is just completely absurd, has really negatively impacted our efforts to find sponsors, because we had a sponsor, didn't we, Corey?
We did. We were ready to roll, and he was very excited, and we were very excited as well to get this product out to the public.
Is CBD, and then his lawyer cautioned against it. And
oh my goodness!
Yeah, it's such a gray area.
But it's a gray area in the U.S. because some states have legal medical cannabis, other states are completely illegal, and it's quite a hodgepodge.
Yes, and I honestly believe within the next 6 months, I don't see why any state should not be legalized for medical marijuana. It just doesn't make sense. With the trend that's going, I mean, I think the CBD popularity has jumped up. I think that I don't know. I don't know where this number is coming from in my head. I think I read it somewhere, but it's like 200, 300% of popularity as far as it being looked up online, people knowing about it, asking about it. Just in this last week alone, the website has gotten over 3,000 signups asking for samples of CBD.
Well, CBD's kind of the new kid on the block, and it has had a lot of exposure, starting with Sanjay Gupta and his weed specials, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's really spurred the interest.
Yes.
And also, I think what has spurred the interest, additionally, is the fact that CBD is good for your health and has no psychoactive component to it.
Mm-hmm.
Which
I think people feel safer with that.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, your pets can take it. Like 5-year-olds can take it. I mean, I'm not out here saying absolutely give it to your 5-year-old. I'm not a medical professional, but every study that's done, it's safe. I wouldn't give a 5-year-old the same dosage that you would give an adult, obviously. But if it's treating, or not treating, I don't like to use the word treat, but if it's proving to relieve symptoms of your pain, of anxiety, of inflammation, how many conditions out there do you think you could name where pain and inflammation is a symptom? I mean, it's huge. The number it's ridiculous. So if pain and inflammation is something that could be healed with CBD, everybody should take it. It should be, I think it should be, you wake up in the morning, you have your healthy shake, and then you take a couple drops of CBD oil under the tongue and have a great day. It relieves stress, migraines, headaches. It's an amazing supplement, and everybody needs to know about it. And they need to know exactly what it is and not be afraid of it.
I don't think any medical profession would deny the fact that one of the two causes of disease are stress and inflammation. And THC will certainly help with the stress.
Yes, it will.
And does that in a beautiful way. And CBD will help with the inflammation. And we have interviewed people on this program who have given epileptic children CBD.
Yes.
And Friday we interviewed Vera Toomey in Ireland, whose daughter has severe Dravet syndrome, severe epilepsy, up to 500 seizures a month, and it's a continual problem. And when they have given her CBD, which is illegal in Ireland, they've given her CBD, she went 11 days free of seizures before she had another seizure. And she now has to leave Ireland, and she's going to Holland because the government of Ireland won't allow her to use CBD. It's insane, and there's stories like this all over the world. It's not specifically her issue. It happens in the United States. I'm sure it happens in other countries as well. And it's you know what? It is almost, I guess you could describe it, Chris, CBD as a superfood, couldn't you?
I've actually used that exact description a couple times explaining it. That's what I believe it to be.
Superfood, right.
Yep. And Brazil as a country, they've legalized CBD as a medical treatment. I thought that was pretty amazing.
Now, what did you learn in your research, you and your team? What did you learn about CBD along the way that you didn't know when you got started?
Or that really struck you?
That really struck me? I think as the research kept going, the realness factor of CBD. There's a lot of hype, I guess, with alternative medicines, whether it be complementary therapies or, you hear of like sound therapy, and I don't know, just there's a bunch of different things out there where they claim to do this, they claim to do that. The realness factor of CBD, when it basically, as I'm reading the studies, it's showing in animals how it could help diabetes patients, 1 and 2, produce more insulin. It helps teenagers with their acne. It stops cancer from metastasizing. It's just amazing to me, how we are, everything that we know. We can go to Mars, send humans to the moon, but we didn't know about this one little cannabinoid and how it could basically heal everything. To me, that's what it seems like.
Mm-hmm.
I love CBD. And I want to know more about it. And this love that I have for it is what's behind this website. Because I think that if this just becomes and this is my hope, is that it actually is a superfood. I take it daily, and I've never been less stressed out in my life. I wake up, I promote the website, go about our daily duties, and that's about it, man. It's,
Mm-hmm.
I got a baby on the way with my lovely fiance, so that's a plus.
You're taking CBD from hemp, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
How much do you take a day, Chris?
I am roughly around 30 milligrams a day. I just take it in the morning. I don't have any chronic disease or any pain, so I don't have a need to take a heavy dosage. Just take a little bit under the tongue, and that's about it. But for people that are actually dealing with stress and have headaches and stuff, they're more around the 50 to 60. And with cancer patients I've talked to, they take a couple hundred a day, just depending on the amount of pain and how long they've taken. Because you can actually, I mean, you can grow a tolerance for it, just like any other drug. Well, not drug, but any other treatment, you can grow a tolerance for it. So over the course of years, there's a couple patients that I've heard take 500 milligrams a day.
So can we just be clear here for listeners, though, Chris, that in almost all cases of cancer, you need the THC as well?
From what I am getting, when it comes to like cancer, absolutely. THC and CBD work together very, very well, from what I understand. But for just natural everyday purposes, the CBD oil and little entourage effect, you don't necessarily need THC in that to basically, you don't need THC to take in all the beneficial properties of CBD.
No, you can get the beneficial properties of CBD without THC, but in order to kill cancer, you need THC. THC kills cancer. That was been proven by the U.S. government, I think, in 1974.
Yeah, a long time ago.
A long time ago.
Yeah, it's just, I talk to hundreds and hundreds of people a week, and I can't tell you how many people we have lost because of all the CBD hype that think that they just need CBD when battling a very aggressive cancer. And that's why I wanted to be really clear about that.
Yeah, if we're talking cancer, everything that I've read says that you need to mix it with THC.
Yeah.
Well, certainly everything I've experienced with thousands and thousands of patients indicates that you do too. So,
yeah, so we're in agreement with that.
Oh, 100%.
100% with that. Now, Chris, when people go on your website, you have various forms of consumption of CBD, the oils, the edibles, DEBs, things like that. Can you talk us through some of that and what you've learned?
Where would you like me to begin? I mean, we've talked about
the beginning.
Oil.
at the beginning. Yeah.
Just kidding.
Okay, well,
she's a smart ass.
There's 14 products listed for different ways that you can consume it. One of them being for your pets, one of them being for skincare. The other ones are basically they're edibles in a sense. Oil is pretty much everyone knows about CBD oil. That's how I found out about CBD, is somebody was talking about CBD oil. But there's isolate. Basically, that's where they break it down and they turn it into very, very, very fine crystals, or it could be like a powder. And that can usually be created without any flavor at all. And so you can mix that into pretty much anything. A lot of people use the isolate to create their own edible. I've heard people put it in their peanut butter and jelly and make peanut butter sandwiches. They put it in their brownie mix so they can have CBD brownies. That's how they make their gummies, like CBD gummies. A lot of people are selling those, like CBD gummies, CBD sour gummies. It's because they mix the isolate inside before they create it. Or another way that they make the gummies is actually they just take pure CBD oil as it's warmed up, and they put one drop on a CBD gummy per gummy. They let it basically get cold. Can't think of the word right now. They let it just get cold, and then they sell them as is. But I think the easiest form to take it and the purest way to take it is just the CBD oil. They're making like CBD pills and CBD capsules that are easier to take, but the pill form is nice. For epilepsy and seizures and Parkinson's, a lot of people I've noticed are actually smoking it, and that's where your CBD dabs and your CBD wax come into play. CBD vape oil is becoming a big thing now too.
Chris, why don't you sell product on your website?
I thought that would be a huge obstacle as far as promoting the website.
I don't think it would interfere with your credibility.
Yes, it would be like, oh, he's just here to sell. He's just here to sell instead of teach. or instead of show the world. I don't want to be a teacher, but I do think that we are, sharing something that's educational on so many different levels. And if we were selling product, we would just be, sure, people would be like, oh, wow, they have an amazing information. And, well, they also sell product. But I think just the fact that we're educational only, people trust us. There's no motive behind it.
Yeah, I think you probably would diminish your credibility by selling product online, and we're more than happy to diminish our credibility by selling product online.
Anything to pay off the equipment.
Yeah, anything to make some money. So I'm just wondering, how do you make any money doing this, or do you do it just because you love doing it?
This is just one of my I don't make any money doing this, and neither has anybody that's helped me build it. This is just a huge project that we put together. A lot of the work is done. To answer that question that you asked earlier, is it an ongoing project? It is a completed website as is, but what we're doing is now we're just updating it on a weekly basis. We're adding a new CBD article. If a new product comes out that we notice that we don't have listed, we'll make a new page for that specific product. And we're updating on that standpoint. We update our social media pages with facts of CBD. So it's a continuous project as far as updating daily, but all the hard work is done. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, no, it does. And one of the things that you and I talked about a number of days ago before we arranged this interview is that Cannabis Health Radio would put a link to your website on our website so people can go to your website and find information on CBD, because we get a lot of inquiries from people asking questions about CBD, and I think because you do not sell product and because you have done a lot of research using medical studies and scientific studies, that I think that would be a valuable resource for people to go to your website, cbdoilsandedibles.com, to find the information that they may be looking for. This is such a new area for most people, not only CBD, but cannabis generally, because it is so new and the information is really out there, but it's in scattered form. I think you've brought all of this information on CBD together, and I think it would be very, very helpful for people. So if you don't mind, we'd like to post it on our website.
I'd be honored. I'd be honored for you to do that, and I really appreciate that.
The more people find out about this and the more people realize how important it is to our health, it's for the health of everybody. I think everyone comes out a winner. They made a song about that, didn't they? Everyone's a winner, babe.
I don't know. Was that in the olden days, Ian?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Everyone's a winner, babe. Anything you'd like to say in conclusion, Chris?
In conclusion, I would say, just for the people that have a negative outlook toward it, before you completely bash it, just kind of read through the site. Even to this day, we randomly get comments on our Facebook fan page, or we'll have somebody write into us. Like people email us every single day now. But we'll get negative bashing comments. And I don't know if it's people just, that are just unhappy with life and they feel to spread their negativity. But I've had people just be like, no, thank you. CBD is horrible for you. It's bad. Like, stop promoting a Schedule I drug. And I just think it's just being ignorant to what CBD is.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally based on ignorance.
Yeah. So
whenever you're on social media, and if you have a website, if you're on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, and you post information, there is going to be some moron out there who doesn't know what the hell
I think they're called trolls.
Trolls, yeah. Well, trolls or morons. But, I mean, who knows? They could even be, and some people will probably think this is far-fetched, but they could be hired by the pharmaceutical industry to discredit cannabis, CBD, THC, and all the other cannabinoids, Because as you know, and a number of people listening to this program know, that in states where cannabis has been legalized medically and even recreationally, the number of pharmaceutical drugs in terms of dollars has gone down, and alcohol consumption has gone down as well. So,
oh wow!
So it as the old milk ad says, CBD does your body good.
It does. Yeah. I agree with that milk ad.
Yeah. No, it's a pleasure to talk to you, Chris. I think you've done a fabulous job of putting this website together. We'll hook it up on our website so people can access the information, and it's educational. Chris is not selling product. We're not selling product. But if anyone wants to sell product, we're more than willing to sell product as long as it is a good product. Right, Corey?
As long as it's a good product, Ian.
As long as it's a good product. Chris, pleasure to talk to you. Thanks very much.
Oh, man, absolutely. This is fun. I appreciate it. Thanks for setting this all up. Hopefully a lot more people can benefit from it now.
Absolutely. And the website again is cbdoilsandedibles.com. And that's it for another edition of Cannabis Health Radio. Wherever you are in the world, thanks very much for listening.
You've been listening to the Cannabis Health Radio podcast. Visit our website, cannabishealthradio.com, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter.